Hey, what's up, everybody? I've been a little slacker when it comes to posting stuff. Just, kind of been reflecting on stuff, just how our nation is kind of viewing these scenarios of police brutality against the black community. And, it's just, it gets to the point where you have to start thinking about what can you do as a citizen, because it trickles down. That's really what it does. It trickles down to not only the black community, but it trickles down to minorities in general. I see in the news like a whole bunch of folks with guns running to the Capitol in Detroit, in Michigan. I don't know if it's Detroit, but it's Michigan. And they show up with guns and they show up to the doors, and it's okay. No one gets arrested. No one gets in trouble. No one gets shot at. But a man can't write a wrong check, for crying out loud, and get his life killed, or maybe walk into a construction site while he's running just to look around and get shot. And those are the extremes that we see. I've seen it. I mean, my wife and I both grew up in LA, and there was an obvious mistreatment between the black community and Latino communities with the white. Like, it was just obvious. It gets a little troubling just to see that things haven't changed, mentalities don't change, and it's a disease that we keep spreading. I hope it stops. I don't just hope. I want to be part of something that I can, whether it's through voting or whether it's through talking or whatever. Like, we have to stand up, and even more so those people that speak about peace and love and yada yada yada. Like, those people that preach that the most should be the one speaking up the most, and just really like shining a light on how dirty and how disgusting and how unfair and unjust this all is. That's kind of been my thoughts the last two days. I didn't even know what to say. I couldn't really put in words for you how I felt and how that made me feel, but made me angry. My wife, like, she saw the video before I even did it. I didn't want to, because I already knew what I was going to do, and she couldn't even sleep all night, how angry she was. And it's just, it's angering because we're in 2020, and you would think things would change. I remember the first time I ever went to an all-white school. I was in 6th grade, and because I had gone to school in downtown LA, and it was pretty much all Latinos for the most part, low-income families. I didn't really encounter racism per se, but when I went to the school, first time I ever felt that distinction. Like, I wasn't I wasn't part of the gang. Like, I wasn't just like everybody else. Like, something was different with me, and I really didn't know what it was. It's the first time I ever heard that word, wetback. I'd never heard that word before. I knew what a mojado was because, obviously, you grow up in Hispanic, with Hispanic parents. They talk about that a lot. But I had never heard the term wetback and the way it was thrown at me. I remember we were in line. I'm not gonna mention names, but we were like in line, and I had a big mouth. I was a short guy. I was the shortest one in the class for the most part, and I'm this Latino with a heavy accent. my English. It wasn't that I wasn't born here. It's just, my my speaking and the way I speak and the way I talk. It's a result of Spanish being my first language. That's just it. And I remember just being like in line, and you know, I used to talk a lot of smack. I was a little guy. I used to talk a lot of smack, and I didn't like backing down from things. So I was kind of a hothead. So I know I was pissing him off. And then, I don't like backing down because I like to look good in front of girls or whatever. So here I am, this short little guy, and I remember this white kid. To finish off the back and forth we were doing, he called me a wetback, and I distinctly remember stopping, and everybody was cracking up, but because I was so lost as to what that meant. He won our back and forth. Everybody laughed. They laughed at me. They laughed at his funny comment. And I was like, okay. And I remember, this is crazy. I remember putting my hand in the back and checking if I was sweating. Because, I was like, maybe I'm wet. I didn't even know. But, it's just that kind of ignorance and stuff I didn't know. But I realized after that, when I found out what it was and why he threw it at me like that, I realized I was different. And I felt weird. I remember my whole junior high years, I was kind of angry. And I was angry at that. I was angry at the fact that I didn't feel included at that moment. It's like they didn't want me. That's how I felt. They didn't want me. I've learned to deal with it, and I know how to react to stuff like that now. And sometimes I get comments. People are funny, but imagine like living with that all the time, and walking out your door and getting stopped just because. If you're still blind to that, I don't know what to tell you. There's enough cameras and evidence and phones with cameras that have shown a light of stuff that it's been said for a long time. There was a very popular rap group in the 80s called the NWA, and the biggest song was called F the Police. And everybody hated on them, but they weren't really talking about being disrespectful. They were just fed up. They were screaming out. They were screaming out something that they were living through. And people just saw it as either entertainment or, oh, that's cute. That's cute. They're mad. They're always mad. They don't know. Well, now that they're millionaires, what do they have to be, so ungrateful about? They're so ungrateful. It's like, you don't get it. If you still can't see it, then I don't know what to tell you. But if you see it, say something, do something, fight. I know a lot of people got that 17-year-old that took the video of George Floyd, got a lot of flack. She's 17 years old, and she was taking a video, and she was scared for her life. That's not the people we got to fight with. Don't fight with the people who are trying to scream at the officers for that man's life. Like, that's not who we should be fighting with. Fight against the people who have their knees and their arms and their bodies, 3 cops on the one body just to detain one person, unarmed person. Scream at them. Get mad at them. Backlash on them. Don't backlash on the poor little 17-year-old who's taking a video, and because of that footage, there might be justice. Don't get mad at her. Get mad at the people who wear uniforms and they swear to protect us, but they don't. Get mad at that. Get mad at the people who portray and look like they're good guys, but their heart is evil. Get mad at them. That's who you should get mad at. Anyways, enough ranting about that, but just wanted to get off my chest.